Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome back to the 1992 Stratos Rehab project. Today, we're going over a bunch of stuff that we have finally gotten accomplished in the last week, so stick around. Okay, I'm honestly not clear what you saw last. So, a lot of things have happened in the last week or so that were in the works, spread out in 14 different projects that finally started coming together and going on a boat, and it happened quickly. And then we got to the point where electrical, and that's extremely slow and meticulous. So let me get you caught up as to what's happening. One, I don't think the motor was hanging, so the jack plate we mounted, rebuilt the pump, put a new tank in it, forced all the jelly like old fluid out of the lines. The lines are fine. Refilled it with Sea Star fluid, and it's working fine. Up, down, no problem on the trim switch or on the stalk switch. I did paint the lower portion of the motor here, and then on the foot, the lower unit itself, I've done the slate gray Gator Glide, super slick, super durable. I think it's a nice offsetting color. Plus, yeah, I've got it on all my boats on the lower, at least the skeg, because, yeah, I drag it in the sand a lot. So this is one very crowded battery box where you have two lithium 100 amp hour batteries going on this side, takes up the entire side, plus the charger is going to mount on this wall here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pumps, 8 pumps. No, 6 pumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pumps that have to do with 2 for pumping out, 2 for live well fills, and 2 for live well aerators. We also have 2 bilge pumps. This is a 1100 gallon automatic. We got a 750 that's going on a switch, just for redundancy. This boat will not sink. I know that for a fact. It's been full of water twice, and it never sank. Neither time I was in the boat, it was bad storms overnight. Yeah, just coming over the top, and the bilge pump, the automatic bilge pump, failed. Don't want that to happen in this boat again, even though it won't be mine. The oil tank is mounted on this plate that spans over top of the pumps. It's going to be held down with 4 stainless screws. We got it out of the way because we were just mounting the base in this bilge pump yesterday, and then all you have to do to install or put a new one in is you just snap it in place in the base, but you need 2 hands or not. That's it. That pump is now installed. Everything, all the wiring, the power is going over the 2 buses that are on the wall. We got a negative bus and a positive bus, so we don't have 15 wires going to the battery. So if you ever have to change a battery, it's not that difficult. This one's tight. That is a new Duracell Ultra Group 27 combo battery. It's 650 cranking amps plus 100 amp hour marine battery in one. It's going to run the house power. We've got breakers. We've got a master power switch for house power. You've got a 60 amp breaker that's going to run jack plate and talons, and then on this wall here we have another 60 that's going to power the trolling motor up front. Gas fills are installed, as are the tanks, and the vents go out the other side. We'll go around there in a little bit. That's my Jethro seat where we were wiring yesterday the 12 terminal fuse panel. It's a Blue Seas fuse panel that's going to mount up high underneath the console where you can get to it easily, but it's not in sight and in danger of being kicked. The dash is kind of temporarily in there. We got black screws because I just style. The shifter and the key switch, that's all been in for a bit, and that's all working. We checked the shifter. The hot foot is installed. It's not mounted down underneath the console yet. We're still waiting to put the seat base in, which I did finish that. We'll get to that in a second. What else do we work on? We have wiring to the front. So this is trim switch, which will be here. Light base here, nav light, and then I'll have trailer motor plug on this side, and then we will have on a switch we have auxiliary power to the front for powering the graphs, so you can separately power them on and off. That's probably happening today. This piece is ready to go in. It's in the garage in my makeshift paint booth. We'll go in there in a minute and take a look at that. As are the cowlings, which I'm not thrilled about yet, but we'll see how that works. This is a drop-in and recessed trolling motor tray. Again, we still have it out just to make it easy to work on this electrical stuff here. That hole is for a retractable buckle for the rods. The seats are pretty much done, installed. I do have to change some screws out in the seat backs. And I also need to swap out the Velcro. It's just cheap. It was too cheap. But that's the seats mounted on the seat base. They're ready to drop in as soon as we get through putting some fuel in the tanks and checking for leaks. The 522 came back, so she's ready to go back to guide tripping. I will do a separate video on this boat and the upgrades that we made to it, which were substantial when I bought it a few months ago. But this is the primary guide boat. The Triton's retiring and leaving. Too many boats, yeah. Okay, we have finally got all the color on this boat. A few days ago we finished the moon dust and the black on the hull itself. It's curing nicely, super hard. Just a small orange peel on it. I've done a little bit of sanding on the cap, not a lot. We got some cleanup and some sanding more to do. These are the vents for the fuel tank. And here's the other side of the box. You can see the trailer motor switch on the wall there, high, easy to get to. But yeah, we're getting close. I've been working on a few other panels. So this is a colored epoxy. That's the console panel. That'll have the it'll be carpeted, but I wanted to epoxy it anyway. It goes under the console on the right side where the fuse, the 12-port fuse panel here will mount. These are actually going to hold the fuel tanks in to keep them from sliding. We're going to push them back, screw them down, keep them from sliding around. Let's take a look here in my makeshift paint booth. So these are the original 2001 motor cowling. It's got a bit of a matte finish on it. I don't know how I feel about that. That's got black. That's got Mercury Phantom Black on it and then clear coat. Didn't turn out exactly like I wanted. These turned out better. I don't know why. I did them at the same time, same way. This is the lower motor covers. They'll probably go back on today at some point. Got some trim pieces that hide bolts on the mount, and then this is the front front bow hood piece that's going in. You know, trim switch, trailer motor plug, nav light, and then auxiliary power for the units up front. This is the switch panel. It was original, 92. It's basically a piece of plexiglass. I wrapped it in a carbon fiber wrap, and then using my label maker I use for the custom rods, I made labels for all the switches, and then I cleared over it. We're still kind of waiting on that. It's still just a smidge tacky because I cleared it yesterday, early afternoon. I'm just going to drop in right in here, right where your right hand on the throttle or the shifter, since we're using a hot foot, is easy access. Today's plan is this jumbled mess of scatty here. There are all the switches that go in that panel that are already wired to the Blue Seas 12 terminal fuse panel, and we got a lot of function check to do. We'll check pumps and lights and switches, and we got a little bit of electrical still here to do with the gauges and do a function test on those. It's down to wrapping up the bits and pieces of mechanical. The last major thing we do before we put the seat in is we need to put some fuel in these tanks, which I have 26 gallons here ready to put in the tanks to make sure we don't have any leaks before we put the seat base in. Check the sending units to make sure everything's working right on the dash here. I mean, we are down to just the smallest of details mechanically. The goal is for this boat to splash in the next 2 to 3 days and be out on the water. It's not going to have lids. It's not going to be final sanded. It's probably not even going to have flake or to clear on it yet, but it's got gel coat on the whole boat, so it won't hurt anything. And then once we get everything checked out mechanically, it'll come back here, come back off the trailer, and we'll do the bottom repairs and gator glide the bottom. We'll finish the sanding of the color gel coat, put the flake and clear on, and go from there. So that is the day 77 update. We're shooting to have this boat splashed by day 80. That's kind of been a goal all along. Now it's not as far along with the pretties and the fits and finishes as I wanted it to be, but it always had to splash and do a mechanical check by day 80, because that means I'm losing my mechanic. He's got to go back to Canada, and I won't have him for another 6 months. And although I could probably figure this stuff out, I don't want to have to, because he's got it in the back of his mind. He's been such a great help, Dave, that is. Somebody who, he's just a good friend of mine, and he's here every other day, either doing stuff or telling me how to do stuff, and it's all mechanical. Everything else, I got that's in my wheelhouse, but working on a motor that is 23 years old, that, you know, if I took it to a mechanic today, most of the dealerships who would even touch it are going to be scratching their head, because the motor's older than a lot of the techs. So having an old guy who's used to working on old motors as a good friend is very, very beneficial. So anyway, guys, that's our update. We're going to get cracking on this stuff. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.